Hello friends, so our today's question is majority element. So what is given in the question is we are given an array nums of size n and we need to return the majority element. Now what is the majority element? Majority element is the element that appear more than n by 2 times, where n is the size of the element. So any element which is appearing more than half the size of the given array, that is our majority element. And it is also given that you may assume that the majority element always exists in the array. So what it means, like the test cases which are there will all have the majority element. So so looking for the approach to solve this problem, so here we can have three approach. First one is the hash map. Hash map, like what it is. So hash map. In hash map, what we will do, we will first of all look at this question. Like here, 2 is having occurrence of 4 time and 1 is having occurrence of 3 time. So here the size of the element, size of the array is 7. So n by 2 is 3. So element which is appearing more than 3 times is a majority element, in this case 2. So 2 is our majority element. So in hash map the same approach we will use. First of all we will count the frequency of each element in the given array, and then we will iterate to that hash map and we will find the element which is having frequency more than n by 2 times. So it will take, its time complexity will be capital O of n for iterate for finding the frequency or while iterating to the num. So it will iterate, so it's plus uh, time to find in hash map, to traverse hash map, or we can say traverse hash map. And then second approach that we can use is sorting. So in sorting, what we will do, like if we look at this example only now, that if we sort this, so it will be 1 1 1, then 2 2 2 2. So if we sort this element, then always the element which is placed at n by 2 index will be our majority element, because majority element only says that it appears more than n by 2 times. So n by 2 times, so the index which is n by 2 will always have a majority element, because majority element will start from there only. So n by 2 will always have majority element. So second approach we can use is sorting. So it will take time complexity of n log n. And the third approach is More voting algorithm. So More voting algorithm, what it is said, it deals with two variables. First is voting and then candidates. Voting and candidate. So what this variable hold is the frequency of the current candidate, the number frequency of the current candidate, and candidate holds any element of the array. So it works on two principles. First, if we are having any element as a candidate, so if the next element is also same as the candidate, then we will increase the vote by 1. And if the next element is not equals to the candidate, then we will decrease the vote by 0. So always remember, More voting algorithm always work when the majority element is n greater than n by 2 times. So if we consider a scenario like this only, so if in case if the array would have been like this 2 2 2 2 1 1 1. So in this case, our first we will select candidate as 2 and its voting will be 4. Then because we every time we are encountering the same element, so we will increase the vote by 1, so its voting will be 4. Then when we will encounter 1 now, so we will decrease this voting, so it will be like 3 times it will be decreased, so its voting will left with 1. So always the candidate whose value or the frequency whose vote remains greater than or equals to 1 is our majority element. So this can also be the case, like yeah, 2 2 2 1 1 1 and then 2. So in this case, first we will increase the vote, so it will be 3, then we will decrease, so it will be 0. So zero, current vote will be zero. So whenever the vote will be zero, we will change the candidate. So understand this, like majority element who is having frequency more than n by 2 will always appear, will always left with voting 1 or greater than 1. Whatever the scenario may be, either the vote increase or the candidate change, but at the end, our majority element will have the voting greater than 1 and it will come. So like consider this case, okay, 2, 1, 1 2, for example, 2 1 1 2, then 1 2 2. So we are taking, so first we have taken candidate as 2 and its voting will be 1, but now 1 will come, so candidate, so voting will be 0. So when 0, then when voting will become 0, then we will change the candidate, so candidate will be now 1. Now now 1, next is also 1, so 1 candidate is 1 and its voting will be 2. So now again the voting, and now next element is 2, so it is not equals to the candidate, so its voting will be, so one voting will be left with 1. So it's 1, so candidate is 1 and its voting is also 1. Now again, so 1 it will be there, so candidate is 1, so its vote will again will increase to 2, and now 2 will encounter, so its vote will become 1, and again 2 is encounter and its vote will become 0. So we will change the candidate when we will when the vote becomes 0, so we change the candidate, so candidate will become 2. So what is left now is 2, so it is our majority element. So like we have, in this algorithm we have two variables, vote and candidate. Vote counts the number of frequency of the candidate which is currently, we are considering it as a candidate, and candidate has any element. So when the current element is same as candidate, we will increment the vote, and when the current element is not equal, is not equals to candidate, then we, in that case, we decrement the vote. Always remember that in case of majority element, the majority element will remain at the end because its frequency is greater than n by 2. So now let's implement this solution. So what we will, first we will have 2, consider it to be -1. ठीक है, so we will iterate from starting to the end. Now we will check if our vote, if vote are 0, then we will change the candidate to current candidate, nums of I. And else if vote are not 0, then we will check if, sorry, I have vote, if candidate is equals to nums of I, then in this case what we will do, we will increment the vote count, so vote will be plus plus. And if it is not equals to that, then in that case else we will decrement the vote by 1. So in the end what will remain, we will remain with the candidate who is having the majority, which will be the majority element. So we will run this solution. So it is accepted. Now we can submit. Wrong answer. Sorry. So when the candidate is equals to number, then we have to increment the vote also. Like we need to, we have to initialize vote with 1 also. So let's again submit this. Yeah, so it is submitted successfully. So regarding time complexity, so it's as we are iterating this for one time. So and its size, let's say, is n, then our time complexity will be capital O of n. So thank you for watching.